This week on Pretty and Pride, we discuss the tragedy of the lost tapes. We start the conversation around To All the Boys I Loved Before and how it turned into The One Boy I'll Always Hate. And we introduce a new segment called Question of the Week, where we answer one question from our faithful listeners. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. I don't fear no man, but I'ma still put 60 in this Drake. Set it off like Queen Latifah, nigga playing with my cake. Split the bag up with my brother, 50-50 what we made. I can't let no nigga eat that ain't contribute to this plate. Run it up, I just need 30.
Okay.
Welcome back. We're here.
Welcome back.
We're here sooner than we wanted to be, I think.
Yeah, we always, under the circumstances.
Yes.
So before we get into all of that, let's just welcome back our beautiful listeners to Pretty and Pride, the podcast where we talk about all things pop culture.
I'm your host, Ken.
And I'm Kiki. And I do want to note that we release Fridays. So first thing Friday morning, choose us on your morning commute. Even if you work remotely, your commute from your bed to the desk. We want to join you. So we were referencing back sooner than we wanted to be. Yesterday, Ken and I recorded a fire episode.
Banger.
It was a freaking banger. And it was like 2 hours, just riff on riff. We went deep. We went, high. And afterwards, we tried to do like a new computer setup so that we could, anyways, no one wants to hear about our problems. But long story short is the recording was not good enough quality. So we're back with our original setup until we can fix that. And we're back recording new content for this Friday's episode.
Yes.
So,
yeah, it is unfortunate to have that loss because, I know that we think that we're hilarious. And I think anyone who's listening will likely agree. So I felt really good coming out of that recording.
yeah.
The process of acceptance has been tough, but rolling with the punches. And we immediately went into the solutions. We were like, all right, well, we'll re-record today. We'll buy some new equipment. And we'll spend some additional time this week just getting that set up so that we don't run into that. And, there's a lot that we want to do just because I think we have a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah.
And we know we have a lot on the horizon as well that we're going to want to take our listeners on the ride for, or, take our listeners on the ride with us for. And so disappointing.
It is. We'll refer to those as the lost tapes. The good news is that in that recording, and when we were recording yesterday, we talked about this, is that we have the ability to just harp on a topic and talk about it 50 times over, podcast or no podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those topics will likely be discussed again at some point. And the funny thing is I don't even think we could recreate the episode because when we get to the end and we go, okay, let's record the intro for what we're going to talk about this week. There's so many jump topics that by the end of it, we're like, we don't even remember what we've talked about. Ken's spouse tries to give us notes, but it's like this laundry list of things we've talked about. And we're like, we can't say that in the intro. So I feel like we wouldn't even be able to recreate it in any way, shape, or form, even if we tried, because we wouldn't necessarily remember what we talked about. So, So here we are. And let's get into, I guess, we'll talk about how was your week last week.
Yep.
Anything notable happened that you want to talk about?
Nothing notable, other than the fact that I went and got my hair done. So rocking a new style. I get a little preview of Paris, what the vibe's going to be like. Mostly because I don't want to pack hair care.
Yes.
So the curly hair, the curly girls, considerations when traveling. So it was just nice to treat myself. I've got a little... You know how it is when, I'm just treating myself, but it's every day.
Yeah, right. Just a little treat.
Yeah, I tell myself, it's so nice that I did something for myself as if I'm not doing that all the time.
All the time.
But overall, I thought the week was okay. How about you? How was your week?
Before I get into that, I do have to say that, the pre-travel planning, the money that's spent before the money spent on the vacation is insane. Literally every single time we go on any trip, even for me, if it's like a work trip, if it's anything, it's like, first of all, the fits. Gotta get the fitteds down. Gotta get my hair done. I gotta get my nails done, which some of that is like your normal maintenance, but it's like the planning that goes into making sure that it's timed just right with the trip.
Yep.
And it's just insane. And it's just, by the time we get there, I've spent $1,000 just trying to get here, and not even including the plane tickets or the transportation. So that's fun. I'll also be joining you in the Parisian hair doings and such.
Yeah.
My week, I think it was good. By the time I sit down on my desk on Monday and I have my colleagues ask how my weekend was, I forget everything I did that weekend. And I feel that way when I sit here and it's like, how was your week? I think it was good. I feel like I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
But I don't really recall, even though I'm always running around like a chicken with her head cut off, like doing a million things. And I'm like, no, I didn't do
plans on plans. You had a volunteer interview that you were over preparing for.
Yeah.
You saw a film.
I did see a film. I volunteered. I went and played pickleball, which is like so fun. I lost to like I'm a retiree multiple times. One of my friends texted me. She's like, "What are you up to?" I was like, "I'm playing pickleball." She's like, "I want to play." I was like, "It's really fun, but I lost, and I'm a bad sport inside." I'm like,
I'm a terrible sport.
Good game. But every time I hit the ball, I'm like, yeah! And then you know what it's like to lose to people that like you're explaining the rules to. It's so fun, but it's also not fun if I'm not winning. So
I have banned myself from bowling because you would think that I wouldn't give a fucking shit about this sport, but up against a friend and some random person, I threw a childlike temper tantrum in this bowling alley for coming in last place. This is the thing too. Like, I can lose and not like it, but coming in last place is actually unacceptable. So, there's probably some childhood trauma to unpack there.
I don't know what
We're not going to.
No, because even like if part of it's like also like assessing the skills of my competitors, like. When we were playing Mario Party at Christmas, okay? Like, I'm raging inside. Like, this is a good time with my family. I want to go home. Like, and, like, if I lose to mom, I'm like, no.
No.
And part of it is just the luck of the draw. And I'll also say that to myself because I can't fathom people being better at me than things, but especially certain people, So, yeah, losing to a retiree, that was rough on my ego. I took a hit, but...
That's unfair to mom because mom is a silent.
Mom is good.
I found out that this lady was like playing Zelda by her, like a single mom playing video games. That's crazy.
That's slay. No, she is good, but it's just ultimately I don't want to lose to anybody. True. Like, I mean, we used to get into huge crying matches, like knockdown dragouts. We're crying because we felt like we were getting picked on a Mario Party.
Yeah.
I mean, poor your spouse because I know he's sitting there. First of all, I know he's always wanting to sabotage you because...
I was just going to talk about this. I was like, what's worse is that when you have someone actively engaging in your... Like, they're a sort... So, my husband and I are very competitive.
Yeah.
It was actually the thing that caused me to even click on his profile and engage in a conversation because he also had indicated... on his dating profile that he was competitive. He plays to win. Okay, people who are out there in the world playing for fun time. Like,
boo, you stink.
You're the worst person. Like, I don't want to play games with you. Like, I'm not here for like, come on, guys. It's just no. I'm here to win and annihilate. Okay. But my spouse is so competitive, and then when he realizes that he's losing, it becomes the competition where it's like, I'm not allowed to win or succeed. He can't shift into, at least one of us can win. No. He is coalescing around the table, strategizing with everyone, waiting for me to lose. And so then...
Praying on your downfall, yeah.
Praying on my downfall. What is that? Sir, we have a mortgage and 3 fur children. Like, how dare you? You
should like what Bob was doing in that episode of Bob's Burgers, but he flipped and realized that he did want Linda to win. And I felt like that was like so cute. I also when he won a phase 10 on Thanksgiving, or got really close to winning, I was about to flip that coffee table.
Because not us explaining how to play this.
Exactly,
game.
It hurts even worse. And then, oh my god! Remember when we got into a fight during the passing of we were waiting for the funeral. Our grandmother had passed and we were at a family end of Airbnb. And our little baby brother was just trying to play a fun card game with his sister. And he wasn't giving it his full attention. So he was laying down cards that were giving an advantage to the other player. And we were like, if you're not going to take it seriously, we're not going to play with you. Like, just freaking monsters. Like, just our little teenage baby brother wanting to hang out with us. And we're like, you better take this game seriously. So, yeah.
I swear he was probably 7 or 8 years old. Like, not even a teenager.
No, he wasn't. I mean, he was pretty young.
Probably 12.
Yeah. No,
But
God, was it that long ago?
It was that long
It was like
ago.
2018. How old is he now? So yeah, I guess he was. He was like a very young teenager at most. We did not see him often enough for like us to be ruining those fun family moments with our competitiveness. Oh, but he's such an angel. He takes it in stride.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, they've come to accept us. But pickleball sounds fun, but the idea of leisure sports when there's any competitive element, probably not.
I've never seen challengers, but I was acting like Tashi Duncan on the court every time I got a point.
Is that Zendaya?
Yeah. Someone will get that reference. So yeah, pickleball was fun, and I think that was about it. We recorded yesterday. We went and picked up investments for our podcast.
Yep.
Because even though I feel like when we started this, we were like, ultimately, this is just a fun thing for us to do.
Yeah.
Which it really is. Like, I mean, as we sit down and record and we're having like 2-hour-long talks, it's like basically what we would be doing, except for we have an outline. And normally we'd just be, I don't even know, FaceTime each other for 20 minutes with BS.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that time with you. But we still feel like we're just all in type of people,
Mm-hmm.
You can't see it now if you're watching this, but we already did buy merch for ourselves because we're just those type of people that like when we're going to do something, we're going to do it well.
And we're going to believe that like we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, so we were just like, let's just take the leap and get some of the stuff that we feel like we need. So
yeah.
Overall, it was a good weekend. It's good to be back. I already feel the wave of annoyance washing away.
I do too.
This conversation.
Yeah.
It's just always fun to talk to you anyway, so.
I don't know if you have any ideas on what you want to talk about, but I just had this ember of a thought.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we had kind of referenced in our recording that we opted to say we are not going to get into that I think would be worth us trying to get into. You can say no.
Okay.
But I actually think we should address To All the Boys I Loved Before.
I don't. I'm shaking because the intensity with which I've come to disdain this film that once saw me through a global pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost too intense. I don't think you really got to know me and love me before I start talking about the trauma that a teenage rom-com caused me.
And I do. Listen, no one knows you more.
I feel like this
better.
will be a 20-minute segment just on this movie that came out 5 years ago. I don't know if this is the... Oh, God.
I mean, it was just an idea, but I was like, that's not stuff that we spoke about, so it wouldn't feel repetitive.
Well, so what is interesting is that I remembered where I was. So the reason that this came up on the Lost Tapes, which we'll try not to reference too much, but I think it's important that for context. On the Lost Tapes, I was talking about how I was sitting across from a friend that I didn't feel knew me well enough for me to get into this, but we had gone to Las Vegas, had that pop up for the Netflix Bites restaurant. So we went and we were sitting.
Was it good?
No.
Okay.
It was not good. But one of the, it's based off of Netflix shows, movies, whatever. And one of the menu items was To All the Boys I Loved Before. And she's like, oh, have you seen that movie? And I was like, I literally looked at her, I was like, yeah, but you don't know me well enough to talk about it. Because I'm it is so intense how I feel about this movie. And it's just a fun teenage movie. But no, I will
I know.
Talk.
I know. The amount of times that it has come up in the 5 years since it was released where you and I have gone on ranting theses over these, saying the exact same things in multiple different ways about this film.
It's just, it just never it's been 5 years and I'm not over it. But now I feel like we've spent 5 minutes talking about it, so now we're going to get into it. Okay.
Well, one of the things that the reason why it was brought up to me in this exchange, other than the fact that we had kind of briefly talked about it and I thought we could use it, was like there is an element of rewatch. Like we rewatch things. You brought up Bob's Burgers. Yeah. Like there is a comfort in rewatching things over and over and over again. That's like we're very familiar with a lot of things. There's plenty of lore here for our listeners at some point. I feel like the biggest slight that movie contributed to was the fact that this was a comfort watch. This was something that
every day I was watching that movie.
Feel good. Mm-hmm. It was cute. It was adorable. And the first movie by itself and in isolation is almost like a perfect comfort film.
The return of rom-coms, like to me.
So good. And then the second movie
retroactively destroyed my love for the first movie.
To the point where I've never rewatched the first movie again.
And up to that point, when the second movie had come out, we had probably rewatched the first movie. I'm gonna not even over exaggerating, at least 50 times. Yes. I was watching it regularly. It was a comfort rewatch. It was so cute. Loved it. Downloaded the playlist and everything.
The vibe was great.
Had a movie night with my friends to watch the second movie. To leave.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
With an audience?
With an audience. I had basically my fake life destroyed. And I feel like it was I also never watched the third movie. Every once in a while, I'm on TikTok and I'll come across a cute little clip from the first movie. And I'm like, I get the tinge like of nostalgia that I want to watch it. And I'm like, I literally can't, because when it was revealed that PK was waiting in the hot tub for Jen, I cannot even explain. I mean, I'm going to, though. I'm going to try. The hate. Yeah. It just really recolors your lenses in the first movie because, he was already
diabolical in the first movie.
He was.
Okay, giving her the scrunchie.
Oh my God.
It makes it so that all of those things are even more violent.
The talking to her on the bleachers and then asking LJ, like, you're just scared. That's why you don't want to go on the street trip. Hell yeah, I'm scared. You're trying to embarrass me in front. Like, if I was under there, my best friend just heard my fake boyfriend talking to his ex-girlfriend about how he still wants to get back together with her. Yeah, I'm fucking terrified over here.
You got me absolutely. I don't care that you went to the Kmart and got me yogurt drink. Okay.
And so we've talked about this many times, and I'm sure even more crops up every time I think about it. But it was the showing up to her house and saying, this isn't about me and Jen. This is about you and this Bon Iver wannabe. But you were like waiting for her in the hot tub. So it just means that you were just going to end up with anyone that showed up first.
Yep.
So, but then to change it and you're getting off the bus. Last night with Jen meant nothing. You were literally about to get back together with her. Okay.
Yeah.
The pinnacle moment of their relationship was sullied by the fact that she just showed up first. But then he was gaslit her so many times in that situation.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Jen was upset. I mean, imagine you think you're going to get your boo back?
Yeah. And in your robe with your hot toddy, traipsing down the stairs.
Traipsing down the slopes against the other one, a hot toddy.
Traipsing towards the hot tub. And there he is with Laura Jean.
On his lap. And they're making out.
It makes, PK as a character was so adorable.
He was.
When you first watch it. And then it's like when the second movie comes out and this is revealed, it's like
you're the worst person
that ever lived. I'm immediately filtering through like every moment in this, and I'm like, yes, you know what? She actually should have ended up with that Well, no, he liked her sister, whatever. Never mind.
Yeah,
but it's just like, you know what, Laura Jean? Honestly, I wish that they had made what was his name, John Bonet,
John Ambrose.
I knew it wasn't John Bonet, but I couldn't.
No, sometimes you gotta say something because it's funny.
John Ambrose.
That's my biggest problem in life when we're getting in trouble is because I have to say it if it's funny, even if it's absolutely diabolical. Anyways, but John Ambrose. Yeah.
They okay. I understand this as like a middle-aged woman that I'm watching.
This is the crazy part, yeah.
I am watching also like early 20s, mid-20s actors portray high schoolers, but they are meant to be like, it's
The
like
youth?
the youth,
Yeah.
right? And like, so it's like, I recognize that Noah Centineo is an age appropriate, a legal person. Let me just say it that way, okay? So it's like I found him very attractive, and I felt like Laura Jean needed a similarly attractive.
I've said this from the beginning. Yes.
Yes, like
yes.
he needed an actual foil for this to be like interesting enough. And also,
yes,
she really should have said, "Fuck you, PK. I'm
Yes.
not interested. Like,
No.
go play around and figure yourself
Not
out."
after the gaslighting and girl bossing you've done for years that like I thought, yes.
And I'm
I
giving
will
him
say-
college for you?
Just want to say
Oh,
that
no.
John Ambrose solely as an individual is a cute guy. Okay. So if he
Yes.
ever ends up watching episode 6 of Pretty in Pride, you are a very cute man.
There's
in
nothing
the movie sphere,
Yeah.
comparison to tall ass, athletic ass, fine ass, age appropriate, legal PK. Okay. She needed like Liam Hemsworth level looks, like someone that is
She
actually like.
needed Jacob Elordi to
Yeah,
leave
I'm sorry.
Joey
I'm
King.
sorry. I don't care if I was gaslit, but I can't go from PK to like someone
No.
lower than it. I gotta win the breakup. You know,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
to get my groove. On,
Got to get
you
your
know?
lick back.
Yes.
She should have gotten Jacob Elordi from, moving on from Joey
Yeah.
King and Kissing Booth over in this, because could you have a fucking imagine the
No.
actual threat of
Now
those
we're actually mad as an audience. Like, how dare you give up? So I feel like also in this conversation, I don't think we've adequately expressed all of the ways in which reverse PK, like looking back, how you just, it's like a flashback. Like I was there, like all the ways that he gaslit her so much through this when he was waiting for Jen in that hot tub. And I don't know, like I try to forget, but it makes the reason that we can't watch the first movie again is because I'll know the whole time that I'm watching it. I'm like, there he is again, gaslighting.
Yep.
There he is, talking about, you didn't even sit next to me on the bus.
This is the shit that I'm on is like, you start watching it and you're like, all right, he gave Jen her scrunchie, like
He gets all
He's
upset at
getting
the
all
restaurant
upset with
because
her, yeah.
she says it's just pretend, which it is
Right.
just pretend. And then he acts like, oh, he always liked, which he probably did always like her. But why are you not a strong enough person and man to just go for what you like? Instead, you're just going to basically use two girls because you're going to get back with Jen. I like her well enough, even though I really like LJ most. Like, just the whole thing is just really icky and horrible. And
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
Yeah. And honestly, I just don't feel like they needed to do that to the story to advance what was already happening in the
Yeah,
second.
he could have just been
That's
there for his ex-girlfriend.
Right. That's the most infuriating part, is because none of that was necessary except to create this drama, but it was like, that's a bridge too far, because
Yeah.
now you've ruined the first movie. So yeah, I know we've gone on this rant 100 times.
I have to say, when I watch so many shows or movies and I see plots like this work their way out, like, I mean, when they work in an office together and he plays her ass, things like that, I would transfer jobs so fast. And then that's how I know I'm an avoidant, because I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not even going to give you the chance to, make me feel more less than you have right now, or, do that. Will they, won't they, maybe. Okay.
Mm-mm.
I'm not going to forgive you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave. You're never going to hear from me again.
Yeah.
How about that? So
Laura Jean deserved better.
you should have moved away to college.
I hope she got it in one of the films, the final film that I didn't watch, but I highly doubt it because,
I don't know. I only watch clips on TikTok.
we're just always playing in women's faces like this.
Yeah.
There's still this part of me that really remembers all of the moments within that movie that were like so cute, so
Yeah.
viral, like
Hand
the
in the
hand in the
pocket.
back pocket, right? Like
She's so cute. LJ's so cute. Like,
just being adorable. It was
yeah.
really giving the vibes of rom-com that have been missing for a long time.
It was perfect. And then it was
a really
ruined.
perfect film. Even that song when they're going up to the mountain, that's ruined. Like that, the hot tub song also ruined. It's like, obviously when this movie came out, I followed like Noah Centineo and Laura Jean on like Insta. I can't even look at PK. Like,
No.
he's blocked because it's just like, I can't, you yourself, I just can't even look at your
I
face.
let them do that too. I also feel like it's like better to have loved than lost than to never have loved at all. Wrong. Okay. I wish I never knew that movie existed. I wish I never had that year of greatness, waiting with bated breath for the second film to come out, only to be shocked, awed, gagged, and gooped. So No.
Yeah. You know what? Now that we've brought Jacob Elordi up, honestly, it's like I can't stop thinking about the fact that he was like kind of seeing Zendaya, and then Zendaya was like, nah.
He cheated on her birthday.
You know, Tom Holland is the one.
Yeah, and he is.
He definitely is.
They're so cute together.
They're adorable. I love their height.
I'm like
difference.
literally obsessed with them. Like I actually
might.
might kill myself if they break up. Like they're just so cute.
You
like,
can tell that he's just like, he's also just like like a secure man, because he knows what he believes and he stands by what he
her
believes.
away from those fans.
Girl.
He said, "Get your shit out my face right now. I gotta get my girl." He's just so cute, and she's so cute with him too. And like they just seem very secure. And you know, that they really did give me hope for love again. And that I think that as like my like almost like a measurement value of like, I'm looking for my Tom Holland. You know, I'm not looking for no skank. Like I'm looking for the like a Tom Holland.
Okay, that's true. Jacob Elordi totally has fuckboy vibes.
And does.
Like he totally does, but it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, but also, would I go for
Yeah,
I would go for Jacob
sure.
Elordi for sure.
For sure.
Hit me up, baby.
There was a point where it was like, watching all of these like YA Netflix shows, I had to stop because I was like, I know that like, so, like I
want to be back in high school.
I want to be back in high school.
I need another chance. Give me another shot, please.
And at the same time, I'm just like, I'm too old to be up in these high schoolers' relationship problems and also finding myself thirsting after adult actors playing high school. It just feels weird. And I'm like, I don't know how our parents were doing it for so long. You know, watching like Beverly Hills 90210, just like
slay of a show.
Thirsting after Luke Perry. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Also, the relaunch of that show was really bad, but so good.
I never watched it.
You know what I really like to do is I like to go onto YouTube and watch best of clips so I don't have to rewatch the show because I watched only parts of it and it's too long. You know, I'm not trying to do all of that. Yeah. So just give me the highlight clips of the best relationships that I want to follow along. You know,
I already know
what happened. Or is it literally insane to just watch? I'm obsessed with watching TV in 3-minute increments. Apparently, like TikTok, YouTube. Like I'm like, oh, you know, I do miss. I
gotta optimize my time.
I also do the same thing with One Tree Hill. It's like 16 seasons. Like I'm sorry, I'm not rewatching One Tree Hill, but I will watch some Brooke and Julian edits. So yeah.
I was thinking that I would love to like revisit things like Radio Free Roscoe.
I would love to revisit Radio Free Roscoe. Also, Instant Star. I think about like so sometimes I told you I go on Facebook every single day and I look at deleting my memories because I need to wipe the cringe of who I was for so many years. So randomly, I'll go in and I'm like memory, and it'll be I think some lyric, you know, and then I'm like I don't even remember what song this is from. So I Google it, and this happened just like within this month. I Googled it, and it was an Instant Star lyric. And I was like, wow. I need to listen to this song again. Like, there's some bangers up in there. I still listen to Sky Sweetnam sometimes. Remember her? She did the theme song for Radio Free Roscoe.
Wow.
Anyways, so yeah, I want to watch that. I would rewatch some Degrassi.
That's also so long. And there's like multiple generations.
I don't think I could get to, yeah, you're right. But like, and the way that they integrate them too, it's like you kind of need to keep watching. Mm-hmm. So like Emma and Spinner end up getting married. Which, like, okay, like no, it was Emma,
I guess,
forever, but anyways, but yeah, but I would actually somewhat, and it's just some of those shows are so long. Like I was like, oh, let me try to rewatch the OC. It's only 4 seasons. Why one season's 36 episodes, an hour long? I'm like, and I know so many of those episodes are filler episodes because I have watched the OC, like you know, and I'm like, I just like I kind of want to, but like that's just like a really big commitment. I need a 30-minute comedy. Mm-hmm. That's 10 episodes long a season, maybe 24 because it's 30. Like, you know, I want to be able to binge it fast. And then you get into those shows, it's like, you know, spend all day.
Drama, scripted hour-long dramas are also hard because it's like we've already established that I enjoy rewatching things. Yeah, and that only really happens and is facilitated if the episodes are short enough, light enough. Like, I can't binge. Watch someone go through like a season-long arc of drug addiction.
Right,
like,
every episode ends on a cliffhanger, so I'm like, okay, let me start the next episode.
Yeah. Like, I can't get into that vibe.
Shit hurt me every day. Get on my knees, pray. I'm trying to find a new get up out this jungle, niggas killing just to eat. Them lies ain't playing fair, so it's been getting I don't give my heart away. This shit hurt me every day. I get on my knees and pray. I'm trying to find another way.
So I want to get into a new segment that was the idea of our dad. One of our greatest podcast supporters. He wants to send in a question every week that we answer on the podcast.
I think it's important to preface that of the billions of people in the world, our father is the most hilarious.
Most interesting man in the world.
Most interesting, fascinating, hilarious. I mean, there are no bars.
No.
And, well, he drops all bars.
Yes.
But there are no holds barred when it comes to who, when, what, or how he will roast you.
Yes.
And the thick skin that we had to develop growing up with this man, even on a part-time schedule. But from my perspective, your sense of humor is closest aligned to his. So I rank the funniest people in the world as father, you, and then me.
Yeah, that's an accurate ranking.
Yeah. There have been moments where I will be witnessing a conversation that he will be having with someone, you know, ribbing back and forth. And I'll be like, oh, who is that? He's like, I don't know. Or it's like some random person that he's having like this very one-off interaction with. So all of that to preface that I don't know what this grab bag of, you know, father's question of the week could entail. But of course, we love to entertain any idea, because finding out that, you know, he ultimately is the main character and we are on the spinoff. I think he's got the gold. He's got the gold.
Does. I don't remember where we were when we had that revelation, but like we were
devastating.
Like
I don't know.
We are the main characters in most rooms. Let's just be real. Most women are. You know, a woman's in the room, she's gonna be the main character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we feel that way about ourselves. So we were somewhere as a family, and
yep,
you know, we give him main character energy, but our dad was there.
Mm-hmm.
And we just looked at each other. We're like, oh my God, he's the Cosby Show, and we're a different world.
Yep.
Like we are the side characters to him, and like in our own worlds, in our own micro environment, we're the main characters. But with him, I mean, we're lucky if we get an extras credit. So, that being said, this segment's going to be called "Father of the Pride."
Yep.
This week's question was around tipping, but let me read it. His question this week is, why do I have to tip the cashier that rings out my order? Other than put the food on my plate, why am I obliged to tip them? I really like an answer.
Okay.
So before we answer this, I do want to say my dad is probably one of the most generous people, especially when it comes to the service industry.
Yeah.
Our family in general, each piece of our family, I feel like we're over tippers. But the tipping...
Most of our family.
We're adequate tippers.
Our immediate family.
Yes. Our immediate family are more than generous.
Yes.
But the tipping
culture,
has gone echelon, but it's not the right word. Has gotten out of control in these United States. I mean, I've been asked to tip on a smog check before.
That's insane.
Have seen people say that they're asked to tip when they purchase their bridal gown.
Tip who?
The tip is your paycheck. Like, I don't understand. And in COVID, I feel like it got 10 times worse because as we were recovering from COVID, I would go to restaurants and they did that whole QR code thing. Mm-hmm. So no one's even coming to talk to you. You have to place your own order. Hopefully I have good signal. If not, they want me to connect to their Wi-Fi network. All of that is very annoying. I'm sitting at the table, I'm having tech issues. I just want to get a Coke. I just want a Diet Coke. And I feel like it didn't rebound after that. So now I'm ordering everything myself. I'm doing all of the legwork, scrolling through this menu, getting connected to the Wi-Fi. And as I put in the order, before I've even talked to a person, I'm supposed to tip 20%. And in COVID, I felt like there was a point of it, like being appreciation for the people that were risking their health to work for us. So yeah, I love that. While we are still, seeing the after effects of the pandemic and COVID is still very real, as we've felt like there's less risk around COVID.
Yeah.
I feel like we've never changed, or the restaurant industry has not changed, and they've actually gotten worse, and then every other industry has tacked onto that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't have an answer for you, Dad. I'm just as upset as you are about it. And it's just too much. Like, and I'm a sucker. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, 30, this is a smog place. What am I doing? Snap out of it, okay?
I'm trying to imagine like the scenario that he is describing, and I'm imagining like one of those barbecue pit stop places, right? Like where you tell them what you want and they're just like scooping it onto a plate, and then like you cafeteria style are taking it to your table and like filling up your own drink, essentially. And
bussing
it's like,
it yourself.
Right. And exactly, right? Like they're literally just putting it on the plate and handing it to you. And it has become this weird interaction where it's like anytime money is being exchanged for something, there is now this added requirement or suggestion of a tip. And it's like, I don't really understand why it is that we can't simply just say like, no, like I don't want to have to do that. I'm pretty good at that, like depending on the situation. I don't like ordering food at the counter and like being required to tip. I just think that that's
absolutely ridiculous.
Too much a little bit, but like there is that part where it's like I want to be generous, and I also want to like recognize the fact that like I feel very blessed, and because our dad is such a generous person and has modeled that really well for us, like I also want to, you know, carry that and emulate that. But I really do feel like the additional pressure of having your waiter or server like stand over you with the freaking thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't like those kiosks because I feel like you're not even letting me see what you've rung up. Like I need to check. And I actually used to be horrible at this. I'd throw my card down without looking at a receipt. I'm like,
yeah, no.
That's financially irresponsible.
Yeah.
Like you need to actually check.
I had a friend who taught me that.
Yeah.
Like always to look at it, and now I kind of review it.
Yeah. I'm like, you need to print it out. But I also agree with the kiosk. And I also think the pressure comes from like again, when I'm scanning the QR code. So I'm sending this back to the kitchen where they can see immediately if I did or didn't tip.
Yeah.
And then it's not like there's another opportunity for me to tip after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm tipping 20-25%, assuming I'm going to get some sort of service. But if I don't tip that, what are you going to do to my food? So
it's also just getting rid of this cash world in some ways. Like I don't carry cash, but like I don't order Uber Eats. Like if it is food, like I don't order Uber Eats. I don't order any food delivery. I am always, you know, like I would prefer to pick it up, or I'm going to make it at home. And usually I'm, you know, fortunate that my spouse usually picks it up. So I actually do get delivery,
to, you know, like figure it out.
I actually do get delivery for free. But like, I feel like if I was someone who's like, I actually want to wait until the transaction's complete to tip, but there's all of this now, like you're tipping before you've even had the service completed. And like you run the risk of like someone messing with your food or someone being upset, or, you know, because I grew up wanting to tip after the fact.
Yeah.
Even if I'm going to always tip 20%, I still feel like I don't want to have to tip you 20% before I've even like, what if you take an hour? Now I'm pissed. I don't have an answer other than like, Dad, you don't. You're from a much older generation who probably has even less empathy and or feelings for like, you know, cultural nicety, you know, societal niceties and like the performativeness of societal niceties. So probably doesn't help if you're like, you know, flexing the way I know you are and then you're saying $0. But, you know, to each their own burden, I suppose.
His whole vibe is a flex, you know? He can't help it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I will never, speaking of which, okay, this is a tangent, but have I told you about the time that spouse and I were visiting and we went to Waffle House with one of our siblings, but this is when Dad had the dealership. And so I was borrowing one of the cars. It was a Mercedes, right? So pull up, park at this Waffle House, go inside. We're sitting at the fucking Waffle House counter. We're eating, right? And you know me, I'm going down. Waffle House is good. And it's one of our brothers. So listen, you know the food was piled high. Okay? We spent, I believe, $40 at this Waffle House. That is insane, right? And this nice single woman, she was eating by herself. Like, that's what I mean by single, not like I don't know her romantic involvements, but she was eating by herself, and she got up and walked over to us and was like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. I don't know who she thought we were in relation to brother, but like, she was like, I would like to pay for your food. And I know Dad's on his way to come like hang out with us and like, or like come see us. I'm like, no, it's okay. You know, he gave me spending money. I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, I know,
no, please don't do this.
I was like, I know these motherfuckers are $40. I'm like, no, it's okay. Girl, she insisted, so, you know, I let her pay, but I felt so embarrassed over the fact that, like, I had to let, like, this woman paid for our food for me to then walk out of this Waffle House and get into this Mercedes Benz after handing her our $40 receipt. So yeah, that was just a tangent of, like, you know, Dad's generosity. It's like,
well, I will say that, like, sometimes you're called to bless people, not just because they don't have something, but because that's who you're called to bless, you know, like,
yeah,
being a financial blessing to someone, or a blessing in your time or whatever, because that's what you're called to do. But it is awkward. Yeah. I can only imagine.
I don't know if she knew that spouse was even on the bill, maybe, you know, but like, it's like, lady, if you had heard us order this food, you would have thought twice for sure.
She's like, it's got to be $10. I, in like a unrelated but semi-related way, is that, like, because I know I'm so blessed in so many ways, I'm used to be very apt to saying, no, you don't have to do that. And I have, through practice, just started, I don't even do the pleasant, like, I do, but like, I'm not blocking my blessings anymore. I'm not saying, no, you don't have to do that. If you offer, I'm going to say thank you so much. And on the reverse of that, when I offer, I've stopped being so forceful with my offers. Like, no, please. Like, if I offer to take you somewhere and you say, no, you don't have to do that, you know, you gotta learn your lesson. Because I was going to do it. And if you want to block your blessing, I'm not going to beg you, you know? So, and on the reverse of that, I'm going to accept mine, because I spent too many years being insistently generous and then also not allowing people to bless me. So, and I feel like that's also in its own ways, like, people, like, I live to serve other people in a way. Yeah. And I don't want to block people from having that benefit of doing that when they're called to do it. So yeah, that's been, I'm
a firm believer in, like, what you put out will come back to you. Yeah. You know? So it's like, I just realized that while we were recording this entire episode, that I have been not abiding by the no fee picks situation.
I'm going to fix it. I have no.
He's a fixer.
Oh my God. Why are you so aggressive about it? Jesus. Are you really worried about the foot fetishes?
Yeah, it's a big thing.
6 episodes.
It is.
But it ain't much to look at.
I mean, okay, well, I think we can at least keep the audio in, but damn. This is what we mean. The thick skin. Anyone is fair game. Okay?
No, I mean, okay, no. What we mean is, yeah, if something's funny, it has unfortunately to be said.
It has to be said, and everyone's fair game.
This reminds me of when this was on the agenda, but I didn't bring it up when we recorded because I didn't come up. And but when I was seeing this guy, and I actually really liked him. Yeah. But every morning he'd text me, "Good morning, Kiki," and he was just a very dry texter, like a "Good morning, Kiki," period. "Have a good day," period. So after a few days of getting these texts, I thought it would be funny to respond, "Good morning, B. I reciprocate that sentiment," period. Now, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was very funny. I told all of my friends. They also thought it was very funny. I mean, they thought it was a knee slapper, okay? Like, they were cackling. After that, the vibe shifted, though. So I was at a bar with my friends, and there were some random guys at the bar, and I was talking to them about this situation. I was like, you know, explaining the story. I was like, oh, he's a very dry texter, so I thought it'd be funny if I was really dry. And I told them what I said, and they both looked at me, they're like, that's really weird. They're like, if a girl texted me that, I would think that she didn't like me. Like, that was a really weird text message. And the reason I thought about this recently is because I edit the podcast, the audio of the podcast. Yeah. And I was thinking, I was like, well, maybe I should have someone else do it. Maybe I don't no. There's been times where maybe, like, my level of humor isn't someone else's humor. And I thought about that example. Mm-hmm. But then I thought, but everyone that I know that knows me thought it was freaking hilarious. So that's my target audience. Yeah. So I still edit the podcast, but yeah. Yeah.
And again, Dad, then you. Right there.
Really close.
I'm real close. By a knuckle.
By a knuckle.
By a knuckle.
I thought there was a chance it wouldn't be received well, but I had to say it because it was funny.
It is funny.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It's really funny.
That perspective. Like, dark humor is, not everyone likes that. But people who watch Always Sunny and find it funny, those are my kind of people.
I can't believe there's people that don't find
There are
that
people
funny.
who do not like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And that's not even dark humor. That's just freaking hilarious.
It's just like...
It's just hijinks hilarious. But like, I just realized like there's some people who like actually, I think, understand like comedy. And then there are people who just have a different flavor for it.
Yeah.
There are people who probably thought Dane Cook was hilarious. I mean, they were paying him something. I think he is not funny.
He looks like the Crypt Keeper, but... No, sorry.
But there are people who think he's funny. I don't get it. So, I don't know. But all I know is that every time I talk about dad to people, I'm like, my dad is the funniest person in the world. But you should just know that, like, everyone's fair game, okay? And there are a lot of times where I'm like, I don't know if my spouse was well prepared by me over what it would be like.
I don't think you could adequately prepare someone for what that's like. I also feel
and
like
also our relationships have shifted too, where it was like,
I feel like with your spouse, we actually go easy on it.
We go
easy on. There's a lot of things that get left unsaid because it feels like we've just done a little too much that day, you know? Like I'm like, okay, it's been about 10 times in the last hour. We'll skip a couple. And even then, it's like, it don't seem that way, I'm sure. But, I bite my tongue. So
it's yep.
We just gotta do what we gonna do when we gonna do it. So
yeah.
It has been something that I've had to work on in a corporate setting. Because I'm like, dude,
it's
so funny.
So hard. I definitely feel, and especially with like Teams communications, it's like, I know, it's it's like your text, right? I reciprocate that sentiment. Like, I know how I'm saying it. I know it's meant to be funny, but if you don't know me, like, I find myself being like, I just won't even send this.
Yeah.
Like, unless I have to be very explicit with my LOLs and emojis, and it's like, it's ruined the humor. Like, I've killed all the humor in it, but like the amount of times I think about like, it would be freaking hilarious if I just said this on the team meeting, and I'm like, no one will ever know. All right. Well, I think that's a good stopping point
episode.
For, like, essentially, we've got the lost tapes. Sadly, we'll reference them for, a long time until we get over it fully. But
Dark Lane demo tapes.
We cannot call them that.
No, because that's what Drake called it. But something similar. A similar sentiment.
Okay. I want you to know, when you said that the lost tapes, I was thinking about Taylor Swift and Drake.
Oh, you know what I was thinking about? Raiders of the Lost Ark.
We were not on the same page. I never listened to the Dark Lane demo tapes.
I didn't either.
Because again,
wait, isn't that where he just had the weird
the balaclava? That's the thing. He releases so much. Yeah, he's wearing like that. His face is covered.
I thought it was just after the Raptors one or something. Hold on.
That's the thing. It's like he releases so much. It's like you can't keep track.
No, dude, I did not listen to this at all. He just had that song Pain 1993 with Playboy Cardi that I also skip every single time it comes on my shuffle. I'm not sure I've ever heard it.
I have a lot of songs that I skip on my liked song shuffle. I'm like, why do I put
I
this
know.
in?
I'm like, I actually probably need to remove this from my liked songs, but I'm like, no, one day. One day
I'll be in the mood for Tracy Chapman's "Give Me One Reason to Stay." It's a banger of a song. I know, that's why it's on my liked songs. But every time it comes on, it's like, this is not the vibe, Tracy.
Yeah, or like I've never heard it before. I was on TikTok the other day and someone was talking about Haley Steinfeld's, like how she has all these really cute summer songs. She's not a very successful singer, but like she releases like single songs all the time. So now I have 5 of her songs that I skip every single time they come up because I'm like, no, I'm trying to curate a vibe here, and I don't know what that vibe is. So
I don't know what it is yet.
But one day I will.
Uzi Vert is another one where I have like 2 songs of his, and every time it comes on, I'm skipping it.
But you know what I'm never skipping? That Da Vinci. Yeah,
that's right.
That's right. That's always getting a skip back. Let's start from the beginning.
Like what?
Like, woo. Well, I had a good time seeing you again.
I
So
know.
quickly.
So quickly.
But honestly, completely new topics. So
Yeah.
we'll never run out.
That's
of
why
this
that's why we just are like, okay. We lost the tapes, but ultimately it's like, yeah, we're just hanging out for 2 hours talking. We'll find it.
Let's riff it again.
We'll find it, yeah.
But thank you, listeners, for joining us yet again. New episodes out Fridays, and have a beautiful weekend. And we'll see you here next week.
Stay pretty.
Stay prideful.
Bye.
Bye.
I do want to just give a special shout out to all of the friends and family who have been listening and sending us their feedback and letting us know that they're listening. It really means a lot to us because this is a very private and personal thing to sit here and like have these conversations, which we're doing for entertainment purposes, but we're putting ourselves out there in, I think, a really public and new way for us. And so I just want to give a lot of, just special thanks to those of you who have reached out on our Instagram and our TikTok to just give us a like and send us a message of support.
Yes. Thanks.
You can't finesse. Bitch, I move smart like a motherfucking Tesla. I'm clutching this Glock, do I look like a wrestler? Get put on your back, tryna act like a flexer. Hold on, wait, this Glock take him out like a date. She give me the pussy, I just want the face. Fuck her real good, put the bitch in her place. I'm high in the bitch, but my mind up in space.